Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Oh, love your
Anyways,
top. Once again, another
thank you.
Cody
I'm
top,
a
I
little.
take it.
No, I bought the. Yeah, it is.
I like it. I bought
Oh,
mine
thanks.
from Goodwill.
It's cute. I like it. Hey,
Yeah.
that Goodwill haul was a good haul. I found like a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and we really like people around here get donate stuff with tags still on it.
Yeah,
I know. I'm like,
people
I
here
mean,
usually don't.
yeah, yeah. I'd never seen it as much as I see here, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Well, sweet.
villagers
Maybe I'll
they
come.
like to shop and then they don't always use it,
Nice.
I guess. So I'll take advantage of that.
Dang right.
But
We need
anyways,
to. We need to find someone down there that had as good of like fashion sense as your grandma did, and like restock your leisure suits.
nobody. Okay.
For real.
And speaking of that, I think some of those leisure suits actually came from one of Lara's friends' dad had like a warehouse of stuff for some reason that my brothers
What?
rated. Yeah. Like, I don't think grandma can take credit for everything. I
She
think a
couldn't
lot
take
of,
credit for all of them. I prefer to
yeah,
think your grandma had a leisure suit for every day of the week
yeah.
because those were spectacular.
Yeah, I don't even know where all the clothes we had came from, but some I'm sure her.
My
Anyways.
favorite was the patchwork, like jean.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, there was like squares of many different denims,
Denim. When you can't
pants
pick
and top matching.
when you can't pick
You,
just one shade of denim. That's what you
that's right.
need. Yeah.
You have to take them all the shades.
It reminds me of this picture of Justin Timberlake where he's wearing like
All
I
denim.
think at some point in time everybody has done that. Just
Yes.
all denim. I'm pretty sure he and Britney Spears both were like in full denim together. And at the time, I thought it was amazing. Looking back, I mean, it's amazing, but in a different way.
No, it's still amazing. It's still amazing, and for all the right
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
So it's good. It's good.
Mm.
It also reminds me, I'm gonna slaughter this story, but we had a friend named Bob Chestnut who left us a message on our answering machine one time about redecorating his entire apartment in denim. It was a total lie, but it was super entertaining. It was back when like anybody could listen to your answering machine,
Oh my God,
so he
Bob.
would just leave us fun messages.
Uh-huh. Welcome back to the little
Yes,
white
welcome
picket
back.
fence.
Indeed, if you're still
Like
here.
and subscribe and leave a comment, please. I'm supposed to say these things that I never remember, so I'm just getting that out of the way right there. Please
Okay,
do that.
I like. My mom's like, I already did.
I know. Thank you, Lisa.
Mm,
Okay, so I was gonna have a friend come on today, but he
yeah,
unfortunately is sick. But we had
dang it.
talked previously about doing like an episode on the quiet firing, quiet quitting. And it just so happens I was talking with him and it kind of like reignited the thought process because he currently went through like basically one of those situations. So I was like, oh yeah, perfect. So we may have to have him come on and like share his story because I'm sure it would take it like a different direction. But since we already want to talk
Yeah.
about it anyways, I figured let's just, you know,
So is he for or against?
is
What's the
there a
story like?
four? There's a four? People are
Well, it
for
depends
this.
on which side of it you're going.
Well, he was basically quiet fired. Like,
Really?
yeah, just and so not that I'm the specialist or have, but what I understand of it, quiet firing is like basically the response the managers are having to the quiet quitting movement, which is basically
Yeah, yeah,
quiet
yeah.
quitting is just doing the job you're hired to do and not going above and beyond because you don't owe your company anything. Like you work for a living, you should be making a living for everything you do. You know,
Yeah.
they're not special and it doesn't like I don't know, they want people to work and like just for the accolades or something. Whereas like
For the good feelings.
I know. And I'm like, no, we work to survive, not because I mean, at least me. Like
Yeah.
I do my job and I do a good job, but I'm there because I have to have a job to survive, not because that's how I want to spend my time. So I don't even think quiet quitting is like nobody's going and actively quitting. They're just actively not going above and beyond, which was something that was just like expected in business
Yeah.
now. And so quiet firing in response to that, as I understand it, is like basically
It's
just
not giving them the hours and
yeah, not giving them the opportunities for advancement, like not scheduling the one-on-ones you're supposed to do, like basically setting them up for failure and making their job miserable, like not including them in the things that need to be included in order to do their job well. Like
yeah.
I know with Anthony with his last position, like as a whole, I think the company was good and he definitely was struggling with his mental health and stuff. So like I feel like they were there for him in a lot of ways. However, because he was a longtime employee, like as they would bring in new technologies and new things like that, they would just kind of expect him to figure it out on his own. Like you're already here, like you're figure this out. But if you were hired new, you got like this whole training like thing.
Really.
And I feel like in a way that was a bit of quiet firing, like you're older, you know what I mean? Like
You're
if you're
aging
not,
out.
yeah, or like if you're not willing to go teach yourself, I don't know, like it definitely made his life harder because it was like, sir, it was like, oh, you should be using this to do that. And he was like, oh, yeah. And the training on that was what, you know, like that would have been if I had been a new hire, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not anymore. You gotta,
Yeah. And I
yeah,
think,
good leadership makes all the difference.
yeah,
Um,
or
as
just,
far as like caring about your employees and caring about, I don't know. I
just
didn't mean to interrupt you
understanding
there.
that, no, that's okay. I do that all the time. Um, but like that expectation that people are going to go above and beyond for like a job. Your job doesn't care about you. You
Doesn't love you.
if you die tomorrow, your position will be filled the following week. Like, sure, they might send out some condolences, but like giving extra to your job doesn't add any value to your life, and somebody else is benefiting from that. And that's been like the okay thing for a long time because we were just like it was kind of indoctrinated that this is what you do, this is what you have to do to move up. And now that people are like, hold on, like this is like the only time I have, I'm not going to spend it advancing you and your agenda essentially. And then
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, so I don't even know where I'm going with this right now. I just was kind of like trying to give an overview of what I believe each of those terms like mean.
Yeah.
uh, is that what you thought?
Yeah, of course.
uh
Being a former small business owner, where we had a lot of like minimum wage employees under us. You know what I mean? Minimum wage. They weren't all minimum wage. There was minimum wage, and there were some that were making a really good living, depending on how long they'd worked there and what their experience level was, and that kind of thing.
yeah.
Um, the thing that's so hard about working in that level with that level is there's a lot of people that don't care. And so you'll have a lot of people that just don't show up, and you've got a lot of people that they'll work for you for like um, a few weeks, and then they'll move somewhere and not tell you, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping good employees is really hard
Do you
sometimes.
think that if they were right off the bat paid more, give it, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
if there was more
There's
invested into them for them to care about the job, that they would have like cared more about it, you know what I mean, like
some yes and some absolutely not.
yeah.
Like there's you could tell them, hey, this is your pay now. This is your advancement opportunities. This is how it's going to grow. This is these are your opportunities because you don't want to be stagnant. You know what I mean? You don't
Mhm.
that hope and the growth is what really motivates people, I
Yeah.
think.
The fact though that there's
But
a minimum wage though, like
yeah.
a wage that you're expected to work at that currently
Hmm.
does not fulfill the need of living here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that right there is slavery. No matter who you are, if you are having someone do a service for you and you're not compensating them in a way that would allow them to afford their life, you have a
Yeah.
slave. And you
But if
make it a
you're
little easier by throwing them a bone, but you don't deserve
yeah.
their work if you can't provide their livelihood. Because that's the only,
Fair.
we all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. There's like, I think there should be, let me think of how I'm going to say this first.
Yeah,
There definitely needs to be a minimum wage. Like there needs to be a point where everybody starts. I think
yeah,
it's been way too low for way too long.
for sure.
Um, anyway, minimum wage has been way too low for way too long. Um, I don't remember where I was going with that.
That's all
So there.
right.
Sorry, my phone just kicked me off and I don't remember. Yes, it's been way too low for way too long. But there has to be a start off point or you'd have people that were paid nothing.
Yeah.
So
And a
I'm
lot of the movements we've had in the past, like having um, your what the hell are they called? Why do these words escape me? Unions. There we go.
oh yeah,
Like what's your thought on unions as someone who's been a business owner?
I think they have their place and I think they have places where they've been abused. So I think in general having workers come together and say, "Hey, this is what we need for in order to maintain a happy and healthy life," right?
Yeah.
That that's a good thing. Say, "Hey, we need benefits, we need these things." I don't know. It's always been a good thing. But when you start taking it a little too far, business owners are just business owners. They don't have like
Yeah.
gold to throw to everybody. They say this is the business that we have. It's either sustainable or it's not. And we can only do so much.
Yeah.
It's not.
The sustainable thing there is key. Like if your employees aren't
If you can't
allowed,
afford to,
if you can't
yeah,
afford to pay them well, you can't afford to
then
have
you
a
shouldn't have a
business.
business.
Work
Yeah.
for yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like there is no one who owes you their time in that way. So
Yeah,
expecting it,
exactly.
and especially like on a big scale with like big corporations, just shoddy working conditions, not giving
Yeah.
people appropriate like paid time
Break
off, sick
times
leave,
and
things like that. Yeah, that
yeah,
is literally modern day slavery.
treating them like robots instead of people that have
Yeah,
families and lives and
yeah, and people are afraid of that word, and I'm like, it's almost like if you go look back at when like slavery ended and they didn't have that free form of labor,
mhm.
then the prison system really kicked into gear. Then really just a living basically became a criminal offense. Anything, you're homeless, you're loiter, they came up with anything to just get them back into privately owned prisons where they could make money off of them,
Yeah.
um
It's a huge balancing act. Like it's easy to say, hey, the workers need to be paid more and the businesses need to run. But man, it's not that simple. It should be, but it's not because you have um, to pay people enough in a lot of businesses, they should be able to. Like they went over McDonald's and in order to pay everybody a livable wage, excuse me, they had to increase the price of a hamburger like 30 cents or something like that.
or
And if
cut maybe the top earners pay, because why do they deserve to be making millions, literally millions? Like,
mhm.
why do we have a world where like some people are millionaires and some people are have nothing? Like, I don't know. Like it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not advocating that there are people that should have nothing, but people who are ambitious and have goals and dreams, I think they should be
For
allowed
sure,
to.
for sure. But if the way that people are staying at that is by keeping other people down,
Yeah,
because you have to
then
have
no.
people living at a very low wage in order for you to still keep making that, and the fact that you won't take a pay cut, you
Hmm.
don't, you're not earning that anymore. You may have worked very hard to get where you are, but now are you all you are is some like lord, I guess. If you're
Yeah,
like, if we take us back to like the
indentured
peasant time, like we look back at
indentured
like
servants.
exactly. Like we
Yeah.
call it different, we call things different, but really is society all that much different than the time when we had people who, and yes, obviously it is. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like obviously it's a lot different, but they're always trying to find a way to like control the masses and without like sharing the wealth.
Well, there's an idea I heard about this week. that I
Okay.
didn't actually know about. And before Ronald Reagan, I think they had a maximum wage that you could earn. Did you know
Hmm.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, I did not.
And I think
So
it
they
makes
had
a
a
whole
maximum
hell of a
amount.
lot of sense.
And as soon as you reach this point, it's taxed at like 95%, like massively. So in order to avoid paying massive amounts of taxes, what they would do is they'd pass it along to their employees. So they're making livable wages and they're, if I can't hold on to this, I might as well make my company something awesome instead of just throwing money at the government, which would be really cool, except for the fact that if we implemented that right now, you would have a mass exodus of huge businesses leaving the US, which would leave us with lots of problems. So I don't know how you would do it.
um, Businesses that do what though?
Well,
Businesses like
yeah.
what value do they add to society, really? Like there are a lot of jobs that we have that don't really affect your day in, day out. What do people need? People need a
Mhm.
place to live, people need food to eat, people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the marketing businesses, all the insurance businesses, like there's so many businesses that it that
Yeah.
like sure we wouldn't have the jobs for us to be able to work and stuff like that, but it's like it goes back to that whole thing which I know I've talked about before, the whole idea that everybody needs to have a job. Like we've kind of got to the point where we could take care of everybody technologically, the way we can produce food, the way, all the things that we can do, we refuse to do
Yeah.
because it won't make money. And to say everybody needs a job to be able to like
But
have their
who
basic needs met, but who what?
but who pays for it though if
I
like
mean,
do we put the bill for everybody who decides to not work even though they
for
can
me,
contribute? They just don't.
in Rachel Topia, the way that I imagine it is that yes, that is covered by um our taxes, and whether it be through a universal basic income or something that meets everybody's basic needs, because most people are still going to want to work for more. Most people still want more than just food and a place to sleep. But guess what? Some people don't. And that doesn't make their life any less valuable. And that doesn't, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
them not being able to even make it in this world because they don't fit into that mold when we really have the means to do it better is so stupid. It's just
Yeah.
stupid, like, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I think I like the basic needs met theory, but I think everybody needs a motivator.
A
I think if
motivator to what?
yes,
To deserve to eat, to deserve to have
to
a roof
to
over their head.
contribute to society and to
Yeah. And I
um
think anything above and beyond your basic needs met, most people are still going to want. Wouldn't you agree? No, you don't think most people want
uh
that?
I think a majority of people probably would want that, but I think you would also have a growing population of people who become dependent, which is really not good. It's why like
Yeah.
socialism and communism don't work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you need
I would
some
say I
way
would
to
say
keep,
complete socialism or complete communism.
yeah,
We say we're not socialist, but we have a lot of socialist
very much.
programs.
We have a lot of
So
socialist
it's
programs. But the people who vote
mhm,
very much against them are like the older population who are very much the only ones living off of them right now. And we won't have any of that to touch. So
yeah, we have a lot of broken systems. A lot of broken systems.
yeah.
And I keep coughing. I apologize. But I don't think you can take away financial incentive because money is as crappy as money is and how divisive it can be. It's like the universal motivator. Like it's why people get up and go to work. It's why we
But
have the
that's
things that we
because
have.
it's what's been presented to us. It's what we utilize because it's what we've utilized. But at this point in time, like we don't have a gold standard. A lot of our money is just like we're printing money based off what? Off nothing. It's all fake at this point in time. You know
Yeah,
what I
that would
mean?
be another broken
The-
system.
yeah, a broken system, and you can't fix the system from within the current system. So you need a whole new system.
Yeah, maybe.
To say we need some sort of currency or way to barter or what, you know what I mean? That I believe in. But to say we need money and people need money as like a motivator and a driver, like I feel like I wish we didn't have to feel the need to monetize anything we love, that we could
Oh,
just enjoy things. Like,
that would be nice.
And I wish we could make decisions for our country based off of what actually makes sense for the best interest of our company, or not company, which basically we are.
Country.
The country is a
Yeah,
company. They're just trying to balance the books and like keep
yeah,
keep themselves, like keep us appeased so they can keep doing what they
yeah,
want to do.
yeah. I think though, if you have those that are earning the money and those that are just taking, and more than just a needs-based, um, anyway, a needs-based program, but just people that are like, I don't want to, you will create a lot of resentment, and you will have a lot of people, a lot of jobs that people don't really want to do but are necessary that will go unfulfilled and will become
Which is why there should be a
extremely.
minimum wage that is high. Like we should value people who are cleaning
That
up
I
our
will agree
shit.
with.
We should value our teachers. We should value our doctors. They should
Amen.
be paid high. They like that's
Hmm.
who should be paid high. But a somebody who leads a corporation who just leads people and lives above them, or somebody who's in the government who now makes so much that they just live above us, like you're
Right.
pointless.
And
You're
they're the ones
pointless.
making
Like
our
you
decisions.
don't exactly, and you don't contribute to society. You're not a doctor. You're not a teacher. You're not cleaning up my shit. You're not. You know what I mean? Like some of
Yeah.
them, yes, on like a,
You voted yourself a
obviously,
raise and
yes, yes. And I think most people who go into politics, I imagine, go into it for the right reason because they want to like change something, or you know what I mean. But then
it's such a
I just
such a
think it,
smarmy system that I think it'd be so hard to not get sucked in.
yeah. And I'm not saying I'm above it and couldn't have possibly done the same as people are doing, but it also doesn't mean that it's not bad and wrong and like broken.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
The the only thing I could think of is the maximum wage. And just say, hey, if you're making more than this, it's taxed at 95%. Find somewhere else to
Yeah.
put that money. Help other people. And
Yeah. I would
I
be
don't know.
totally for that for sure. I mean, right now, where were we at real
Yeah.
quick? I have to get back to what I was talking about because I got distracted.
We were talking about having a maximum wage and uh, fixing the broken
Uh,
pieces of society.
yeah.
Mm.
If you have a thought, go on. It'll come back to me.
No, I think we've um, gone too far in one direction, and it'll take some balancing. If we were to raise the minimum wage, it would make a few things more expensive, a few things a lot more expensive, and a few things just a little bit. And so the living wage, like what it costs to live, would automatically go up. So we'd have to balance we'd have to
Yeah.
maybe move the minimum wage again and figure it out, because there is a sweet spot somewhere where we can earn a livable wage and we can have the things that we need. Like that's, I
Yeah.
don't know. It changes so much. Like if you think about how much it cost to live when we were kids, like you had one phone line in the house, right? Your mortgage was a lot less. You had a lot of families that lived with one car, right?
Mhm.
And
And
anyway,
society catered to
and no
that.
computers, no
Yeah.
iPads, no real technology. And then here 20, 30 years later, you've got everybody has their own computer, everybody has their own phone, their phone bill, and there's cars for every driver there, and there's so many more things. It's so different. You can't have the same system in place you had then for what a livable wage is versus now.
Yeah.
It just
And to
doesn't work. So you
say,
have to revamp.
yeah, and I know somebody's argument would be then don't have those things if you can't afford it, but it's like no, our society kind of dictates that we need it to have a job. You need, they have to be able to access you. They're going to ask you to do trainings or and things online. Like you need access to computers and internet and phones and all these things. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
just living in our society takes more. And
Yeah.
yeah, along the
Nope.
lines
Absolutely
of
right.
the taxing, like the what is it, the maximum wage or whatever, you
Mhm.
were talking about how they only really tax over a certain percentage. I think already in like certain things that's what it is, like the death tax or whatever, like that people are like, I don't know, it's Do you know
Like
what
after you
do you know what
die,
the death tax
it's
is? Yeah. After you die, what you can like leave behind or whatever, like what you can, how much you can do. It's taxed, I think, only after the first 5 million that you give. And that's
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure it's like each parent could give each kid 5 million. So that's like 2 million, 2 million. And then it's taxed at a high percentage, like above that. So like this really only appeals to like the richest of the rich. And you're still able to
Well,
give very,
kind
very
of.
much. Okay, who else is
Well,
at that level?
the thing that pops into my head is around me there's a lot of farmers, right?
Okay.
And they're people who have built up family farms. They've gotten a
Yeah.
little piece of ground here, a little piece of ground here, a little piece of ground here. So they've been passed on for generations. So they don't necessarily have like $20 million, but they may have $20 million in land, which is what it takes to work this little family farm because you
Yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah.
just have, I mean, one small piece of ground costs like $1 million now, right?
Yeah.
So somebody dies, they pass on the little family farm to their kid, which happens to be worth like $20 million, and they have to sell half of it for the death tax, and then it's not enough to sustain a
Oh,
little family farm
yeah,
anymore.
no.
So that kind of thing, there's
Yeah. There's always the
caveats and
other,
there's
yeah.
things. But if
Um,
you're passing like actual wads of cash down, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I
even
haven't thought
even
about it.
with that, like I would love to be able to share with my kids, but the birth lottery, they're like, you're just lucky that you were born into a family who can give you that. Why are
Yeah.
you more deserving? Why did so? Yes, they may have worked for that, but also I would pretty much guarantee that they were also gifted a little bit of that for someone before him. It's just like how you take all the people who came out of slavery and are expected to just make it without any like anything to help them because they're like, well, you're free now. Like, aren't you fine? And it's like, no, you guys have literal generational wealth. You literally own all the land. Like passing it on like that, well, I can appreciate it because I'd like to share something with my kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the world is ours as a human race. Like back up away from this all, and we're like alone here, just us, and nobody's fucking special. Like you're not special because you were born into a family that could pass something down to you. You don't actually deserve that. You don't. You're not
Yeah.
owed that. Like we as a whole should be sharing what we have and holding on to things like that. And I get it, but also I'm like, but why? Why? So that's important to you because it affects you. And
Yeah.
yes, you have the farm and stuff like that. But so you were lucky and you got that, and boo hoo, now I have to sell some of it.
No,
You have a
well,
fucking
I'm
farm, like it's hard to feel bad. It's hard to be like,
I
I don't know.
well, what would happen is if you sell the family farm that your great great grandpa bought a piece of and then your grandpa did, and it's
Yeah.
like you've built it and you've taught your kids and you've passed it on. If you sold half of that, it would 99.9% likely go to a giant corporate farm. So
Yeah.
you're
Which
not
is
saving
yeah. Which is
you're
showing that having it as like a tax is just literally being used to benefit corporations and allow them to take more land. And so
mhm.
maybe we need to take a step higher and just be like, I don't know, corporations. So this is something because me and this guy kind of talked about it. With
Yeah.
the oh, he was somebody who's working from home. Like Anthony's a work from home. He was talking about how a lot of companies are trying to pull back into the offices. And it's not because they've seen that productivity has lagged or anything like that. They're trying to justify all these buildings they have. They're having to pay the overhead, you know what I mean? And they want
Yeah.
them filled when really it's like, if you can operate without it, why do you need that? You know what I mean? Like, why are you
Yeah.
hoarding and holding on to this that could be utilized a little more universally? And sure, like you say, there's going to be this entitlement. There already is an entitlement because if you're entitled to that farm, because you were born into a family that had a farm, lucky you.
Well, what
You're
if instead
special.
of bringing down the family farm,
Yeah,
we helped those who were not born into generational wealth?
yeah,
Because I don't want to
sure,
tear down the people who have worked really hard and who've like
for
taught their
sure.
kids, and there needs to be, I don't know. I would never, I would never tear down somebody
Yeah,
who's like worked really hard for what they have
for sure.
and
And I
who's
don't think that's the majority of like death taxes, because I don't think you have a bunch of farms being ripped apart. I think you have a bunch of people living above it who want to just keep their families living above it. But that's me being frustrated by the situation, not factual at all.
Yeah. Well, if that motivates you as you're working, like, hey, I want to put this aside for my family and for their future, and you have specific things, that can be a real motivator. I think that to a point, there's that
Yeah,
could be a good thing.
for sure. For
Um,
sure. If it's an individual thing versus just the fact that it was given to you, so now you can now give it to the next person.
yeah.
And you're entitled to that because you won the birth lottery and you're
Yeah.
white
Well, and
and or
most
you
generational
know,
wealth like that, where someone's just passed down wealth, I think it's within a generation and a half, it's gone. Like the vast, vast majority, it's like people just, I'll look up the statistics. Um, Unless you're like a Rockefeller or the massively rich Walmart,
the
the
yeah.
Bezoses and the Gateses and, you know,
Yeah.
but
If you
I
look
have a
at
hard time.
sorry,
You look at each of, oh,
each of those people who you're gonna go back and say, like the Bezos or the this or the that, like he started it in a garage. Yeah, with the 250,000 loan from his parents. Like
mhm.
that's not
So
like
how do
a
we encourage
self-starter.
people?
Yeah.
How do we encourage the people who have not grown up? You've got a foster kid, zero parents, grown up in the system, doesn't have a penny to their name when they get kicked out of the system.
To me,
How do
the
we
way you
motivate that
encourage them
person?
is that
Mm-hmm.
they have their basic needs met and that is assured so they can think about what they want to do, whether it is that they want to be an artist, whether it is that they're really into cars and they want to be a mechanic, and they can do it and they can make a little extra money, but it's not survival. It's not what am I going to eat? It's that's taken care of. What do I want to do? I just feel very differently about you that people would just only take advantage of it. I think that's something that the people at the top have told the people at the bottom to scare them
Oh, I
from
don't think
sharing.
everybody would take advantage of it. I think
I
there's
don't
a
think
group of people that
most
would,
people would.
and I have,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and that's true. That's true. And let's say right now they're not working anyway. So they're not contributing to the system, but they also really take from it because they go into the hospitals and they use it for free and it's a tax write-off. Like we're paying for them already anyways. So what if we just gave it to them and said, sit over there, and let the rest of us live our lives, but let's all get out of survival mode because we should be past survival
yeah,
mode, but we can't because everybody's all about making money when it's like, no, let's like fuck your money. Take care of everybody right now. Like use your
yeah.
brain. Like
Well, nothing will piss you off worse than watching somebody who has like physically worked their knuckles to the bone for their whole lives to barely scrape by, and then you see somebody who's just sitting there not doing anything. Like
that's
that's
my
made me mad.
parents and most of the people I service here.
Yeah,
My parents who are still like, just
mhm.
go, work, 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 always have been. So I get that. I get the worker
Yeah,
bees. But then I watch all the people who I'm taking care of who, not to
it's
say that
super
they all
frustrating to
started at
see.
good places, but like they're the people who with the pensions and Medicaid access and all these things that are just taking care of them and they're voting like don't give to people like that's going to make them lazy. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just that everybody's in survival mode. And if someone doesn't have it in them to be a worker bee, that doesn't make them
Hmm.
useless. And it just means, that's, I don't know. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But that's an idyllic, like obviously I'm missing a lot of caveats and stuff because I know there's going to be the people that throw a wrench and everything, but
Yeah. But it does feel like we've reached the point where basic needs have changed from, I don't know,
they're
they've
they're
changed over
they're
time.
monetized. Like nobody's just born and deserves to live, especially here in America. We're born into debt. It costs so much to have kids. Like I had payment plans on each of my kids. Like I'm like,
Hmm.
hold on, I don't owe you all the way yet. Like
6 more payments in your mind.
yeah.
Yeah. There's
Oh,
no way medical care should cost as much as it does. And there's
yeah.
no way anybody should be going hungry
Yeah.
in a place of, where we have so much.
Yeah. So we kind of really went off onto some tangents here, which we do. But
Yeah.
one of the things I was kind of thinking about when I was thinking about the quiet quit it, quiet firing thing was like
Yeah.
people just really with the quiet quitting thing, I think it was just people trying to find a work-life balance. Like people are so overworked and out of balance that they were just like, okay, it's not worth it to me anymore.
Something's got to
My
give.
life
Yeah.
sucks. Something's got to give. It's not that they don't want to work. It's that they don't want to work their life away for somebody else who doesn't care about them, who will replace them the
Yeah.
next day. And like our work-life balance needs to be prioritized so much higher than like the bottom dollar. Like it just like how you guys in Idaho are doing the 4-day work week,
Well, we're doing the 4-day school week, but
school week,
yes, I
which
was just thinking that too. The amount that changed our life, just that one simple thing, huge, massive. So that's if you can pay people a livable wage to work 4 days a week, I think that would be huge.
yeah. And I mean, like we've created that, well, we, not me, but like as a whole, people have created technology that really can automate a lot of like positions and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
we could be just working less and allowing like the things that we've set in place to like meet those basic needs if we really put our
Yeah.
mind to it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that doesn't profit anybody. So well,
Well, I've
actually
never
it
seen
profits
a system.
everybody. It doesn't profit the powers that be.
Yeah. I've never seen a system in place where you have um, a huge portion of the population that works and a huge portion that doesn't, and it coming out okay. So maybe I need to research different societies and
Yeah, I mean, I
see what
don't
happens.
know
Because
of
the last thing you'd
any.
want to do is collapse everything and have nothing for
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah, I don't think I like what population are you referring to where half works and half don't. I don't know anything like that
Well,
where it didn't work.
where yeah, where well, what I'm saying is if you have the people who are like, I just don't want to work and I want to have my basic needs met, and the other half that foots the bill for that, I don't.
So, like, what I like about the idea of a universal basic income, yes, paid by tax dollars,
Yeah,
um, is that it literally goes to everybody, whether you make $1 million, where it's just everybody's universal needs are met. Like, it's not just helping the poor. You know what I mean? It's saying, hey, look, this is a human right. Like, let's agree to like, we're going to take care of that. We've got past this point in our thing. They can choose to donate it or whatever. Not that they will, they'll invest it and like double it or something because money makes money, but it'll at least take care of the people at the bottom. And like in the way that you were talking about it, makes it sound like we're just giving to the poor. Whereas like that's why I like that, because it's kind of like, hey, here, everybody, like this isn't just a poor thing where we're gonna give them Medicaid or something. This is like, can we all just agree that everybody deserves these basic things just because they're born? And also, if you're gonna be religious or whatever makes you feel the need to be super anti-abortion, then you better fucking be for everything that makes sure that every human being's life is has their basic needs met. Because otherwise, you're condemning people to like hell, essentially hell on
yeah.
earth. You know.
Hmm.
Mm.
No, I agree with. I don't know if I agree with. Well, I don't know.
But
I'm just gonna
yeah, yeah.
trip over my tongue for a while until
No,
I
that's
figure out
all
what it is
right.
I'm trying to
I was
say.
just all I basically I was just saying that's why I like the idea of a universal basic
Mhm.
income that I've heard presented by like different um people in politics. I think Andrew Yang is the main one I heard talking about that. And
I'll have to go listen to him.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I think if we also got rid of a lot of the corruption and the things at the top, we would have money for a lot more things like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
um, but
Which
that's a
is
whole different story.
why
I could take a deep dive off into a
I would
tangent, but
I
I'm
would
not I'm
like
not going to
that.
right now.
Why not? What's stopping you?
Because I don't think it's where we're trying to go. But anyway,
Go
I think
there.
I think as a country we should stop having to borrow from other countries money. We need to live within our own budget and take care of ourselves. I think we should start having the national deficit going the other way. And I think there should be um, harsher punishments for insider trading and things that government officials are privy to. There's who is it, Nancy Pelosi, that's the top guesser on which stock is going to
Yeah.
jump through the roof.
Right. Right.
Pretty sure if Martha
Mm-hmm.
Stewart had to go to jail,
Yeah.
then she should
That
too.
kind of goes back to that the whole you can't fix the system within the system. Like,
Yeah.
I think we need to, at one point in time in our nation's history, they were like, hold on, let's write some shit down. Let's think about what's going on.
Let's reassess
I
here.
think we've reached that point in system that we need like companies
It feels
do
like
it.
it.
Companies do a thing where they're like, hold on, and they're like, let's break this down. This isn't working anymore. This isn't working anymore. Like, I don't know how to break the system, but like it's probably gonna break on its own, because people
Yeah,
just
it doesn't
keep
work.
getting so, yeah, everything just keeps getting so much worse and worse, and they like try to appease, but you can tell when they don't really care, when they're so out of touch that they really don't understand what it is we're even trying
Yeah.
to say. Yeah.
Yep. I can think of several instances in my head right now.
Yeah.
But um yeah, I've wondered that too. If the system's too far gone, if we can turn the ship around, or if it just needs to, shut it
Break.
off, turn it off and turn it back on.
Yeah. Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
Yeah. Yeah.
If
We could
only.
do that.
If only.
Yeah.
I hate having tons
So
of complaints and no like actual like
what can we do?
exactly. But I don't think the figuring out the solutions comes until you start complaining and figuring out what's wrong in the first place. So
Yeah,
I
I
guess it
think if the
has its
solution were
place.
that easy that we could figure it out, then it wouldn't be a problem.
Well, maybe the solution is that easy that we could figure it out. It's just that we can't do anything with it as long as the people in power are in power because they don't want it to change because it benefits them and it works for them.
Yeah.
And so they can't see how much it doesn't work for everybody else because they're like, what are you talking about? This is great.
Right. When you have all of your needs met and then some, it's hard to connect with people who are struggling and who are having a really hard time and who don't
Yeah.
have those needs met on the regular basis.
Yeah. And I see people all around me in different things like living in survival mode, And I'm just like, and they are some of the hardest workers. And I know that if you gave them their basic needs met, they're not just going to quit and sit on their asses. Most people are not that. And the idea that most people are that just means that the people at top have got to you because that's not human nature. Even the people who like live at the bottom and live off of that, it's pretty much because that's what they've been taught to do to survive. They've been taught that's how they survive. But let's say all of a sudden they had their needs met, maybe they could think outside of that. Because when you're in survival mode, you're not thinking about
You're not thinking.
anything. It's like I watched that thing on the girl who escaped from North Korea. How like
Mm-hmm.
the way they lived, the way they didn't waste. Like they weren't worried about like anything, escaping
They
it
couldn't
or
even
what they were
think
saying.
about it.
They
Yeah.
couldn't even think about it because they just needed to get their needs met. And when you keep people at a state that their needs aren't met, they're in survival mode and they can't
Yep.
get out of it. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
the people saying that those people are going to do nothing are the people who don't want them out of survival mode, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of truth to that.
I know there's a lot of truth to that. I have too many people in my life that I see every day that I watch live in survival mode and without access to, all the things that you say, like the American dream, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't exist anymore, really. It existed for a time and they're all still existing in it and they're living off their pensions and their things that existed. And yay for them. But all the younger generation is just looking at, like, okay, that doesn't exist anymore.
Survival.
What do I do? We're all stuck at survival.
Mm-hmm.
Because even those of us who are like, I'm in a pretty good position. Both of us work, we both have degrees and are able to make, but like we've struggled just because of the way, I don't know, life is. And because those things aren't in place, we're way behind on like trying to save for retirement, trying to save for college and stuff like that. And it's not that we didn't want it. It's not that we were just
Yeah.
being ridiculous with money and throwing it all over. You know what I mean? Like there just aren't the systems in place anymore. And so it's like, why do we keep working for this system? Why do we keep doing this when it doesn't work for any of us long term? And we know that, we can
Yeah.
see that. Like, what's it going to look like in 30 years when there's a whole different generation of retirees without any type of like safety net, security
All
net?
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The system has changed. It's time to do something different.
Yeah.
The way it's headed does not work.
This episode will be
It's not
titled
sustainable.
We Complain About Things and Come Up with No Solutions.
Woohoo! That's okay. So
Oh,
for anybody who's feeling that way, we get it. We understand.
yeah,
That's
pretty
basically it.
much. Pretty much.
Commiseration.
And
But
if you're quiet quitting,
mhm.
you're not quitting. So if your manager hears somebody thinks somebody's quiet quitting, then maybe check that person's like work-life balance and make sure that it's worth it for them to live there, to work there, or to work harder for you or something, because they don't owe you anything more than the bare minimum. You know, that's all you pay them for. You pay them to do a job. If they do it, that's it. And quiet firing, I'm pretty sure is illegal. Like
Yeah.
I feel like if you were able to prove that they did that, there's some sort of protection in place, I would imagine. I don't know. You
I
as
don't know.
someone who
Good
was an
question.
employee, maybe like if you were actively doing things to make someone's like just to, so that you don't have to give them any type of severance, you're just going to make it so that their job is miserable to the point that they choose to leave and you're not responsible, regardless of how
I
long they
don't
keep.
know if that's illegal. It's kind of a douchey thing to do.
It is
I
douchey.
don't know if it's illegal just to cut somebody's hours.
Well, I don't think it's
Um,
just cutting hours. That's not what quiet firing is. It's taking away
like,
resources. It's not giving you the promotions. It's it's
oh
just
yeah, taking away
keeping
the
you
hope.
exactly.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah,
leaving you and
I don't think it's illegal not to give promotions and things, but it does make for a more hostile work environment,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
you'll have
I
a
don't
lot
know.
harder time keeping employees.
Yes,
And I think that's what they're seeing right now. One of our favorite
exactly.
restaurants
Ah, and I hate
can't
it when
stay
they put
open.
out the stupid things like people don't want to work and I'm like, it's your fucking restaurant, work it.
No,
If you want to
my
work it, work it.
yeah.
It's your
Uh,
restaurant.
one of our favorite places is a restaurant that's in like this tiny little town. So its pool of people to pull from is really small. And so sometimes they'll just shut down and they said, "Hey, our employees needed a mental health day today.
Oh,
It's okay."
good. Because
And
I get
they're
so
they're so nice
frustrated.
about it.
Yeah. When I see those things that are like, nobody wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
come in
nobody
today,
wanted
so
to
we
work.
don't get to work.
Everybody's
And it's like,
partying. Yeah.
yeah, it's your business. Take care of it. We're
Yep.
employees with lives actually, and shit
Hmm.
happens. So
Yeah.
obviously this topic gets me just a little flustered.
That's okay. I think it should. I think it should because
uh
it affects all of us. So
yeah.
I think, and I think we all we all want people to feel comfortable, and we all want people to feel like they're allowed to live in this world. You know what I mean? I think,
Or we should all want that. Yeah. We
yeah.
should all be able to see others as human beings that are just, you
Mhm.
know,
And
trying
there's a
to
lot
live
of
and
different types of people. There's people that are super motivated, and there's people that are super not. And it's it's hard not to want to
mm,
shove people into boxes. And
sure, but also if you
but
add motivation and privilege, you're going to get a lot farther than someone who's motivated in a survival mode. It's just not the
mhm.
same thing. Motivation alone cannot fix our problems. I'm
It reminds me
motivated
of
to fix it.
if you I used to love listening to this radio station that would play songs from like the 1920s, like 20s and 30s. There's really old stuff. And the stuff during the Great Depression that people were putting out was is like um, cheer up people, be happy even though you have no stuff. Like, and I think it was somebody's attempt, but I don't think it really helped.
Yeah.
I think I think just telling people to be happy doesn't work. I think they need to have a confidence in their life and hope.
Yeah.
So that whatever we can do to inspire that, that's not just playing songs on the radio and telling them buck up, champ.
Yeah. Pull up by your bootstraps.
Yeah.
I like some of the memes that are um like like we're all in the same storm. And it's like
Yeah. We're all in the same boat.
it's
We're all in
like
the same boat.
oh yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but my boat's a bucket. And yours is a
It's
yacht.
got holes in it.
Or not mine per
Yeah.
se, but
But yeah, no, it's just
like we're not all in the same boat.
we're all
And
is that the one that's like we're not all in the same boat, we're all in the same storm, and
probably
anyway, each of us is
stemmed
in a
off of
different type
that.
of boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some of us have a canoe, some of us have a yacht, some of us, you know,
Yeah.
we go through it differently.
Yeah,
Be
and if you
kind
have a
and
yacht and you
help.
saw someone in a canoe, you would help them. Yet we live here in America where sometimes people live with yachts and they just think, why aren't you working harder like me?
Why
My
don't you have a yacht?
my daddy said I was a very big boy. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot that can be done. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
like
obviously not
what?
in ways that, yeah, I was going to say, obviously not in ways that I have any control over.
Yeah. I keep like
So,
going in my head, just like, how did we get here? Like, is this having anything to do with quiet quitting, quiet firing? No, that's okay.
yes, I like how we got here. I think I think we talked about lots of things.
We did. We did talk about lots of things. Good luck with the
So,
description and title on this one.
thank you. I will work very hard.
Okay, all right. Well,
Anyway, if your friend wants to come and do it again, though, we totally can if they have a different take on it and
yeah. I'll tell
would
him to
like.
watch this and be like, what would you have added? Because
He's just standing there stunned at the end, like,
yeah, just like,
well,
well, I'm glad I didn't come on,
hmm,
first of
there's
all.
a lot to process here.
Yeah. All right.
No, it's fun to just throw a topic out there and see where it goes. So,
Yeah. You got anything going on this weekend?
seems like I do. We were gonna have like UFC fight night
Oh,
with
I like that.
yeah, yeah, except we found out that it's in Dubai, so the fight night would have to be at like 11 o'clock in the morning, which
Oh,
makes it very different. So we're not doing that.
yeah.
But it seems like we have a birthday party and some other things.
Here you go.
Yeah,
Bella has her first competition of the twirling season, and her team's not ready, but she's competing as like a soloist. So
awesome.
we're going tonight. So as soon as I get out of here, I gotta go
Nice.
pick up my truck that's getting an oil change and pack it up and get ready to go
Nice.
spend the
Well,
weekend
tell her good luck.
twirling. I will.
Elaine is doing it now too, isn't she?
Yeah, but like she's just starting in like the
Yeah, she's not competing yet at the
yeah.
ripe old age of what, 3?
They can hardly get her to like stay in the room at this point. So did I tell you that she like kind of got yelled at and yelled back at the lady?
Oh, I think so. Didn't they tell her that she needed to be a good girl or something?
And she's like, "Don't yell at me." and then she's like pretty much like, okay, you're yelling at me, so say goodbye to your friends. You don't get to do that. Let's go. And she's like, I'm having fun. Like, even though she
What?
had been yelling and everything, I'm like, this is fun. Okay. She just is, she's the boss of her and everyone around her. So, in her mind.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
she does a good job at it.
Yeah. And I don't know if twirling's going to be her thing, but I just wanted her to be trying to learn to listen, to follow. And so far, you know, it's going
So far,
about
so
as
good.
much as no, it's going about as much as I expected. But mostly I like have to hide out of the room because she
You
knows
can't be
like
there.
I can't. But like she wants me in there, but then it's like I just have to sit there and like reprimand her because then I'm there to do that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if I'm out of the room, I'm just waiting on them to tell her to like stop it. But everybody's
Right.
always like, please don't. Please don't do that.
The
And
that
Elena's
voice.
like, yeah. And Elena's
Good
just like,
luck with that.
yeah, good luck with that. Was it you
That's
who
awesome.
said, I'm pretty sure it was you that said, you said something like, she's going to rule the world or a cell block.
Something like that. She'll rule the
Yeah.
world if you can survive it. So
Yeah. It's so true. I'm like, she's the boss. She will always be the boss. I have a feeling that is, gonna be her lot in life. She's the boss.
yes. And what a cute
Maybe,
boss she is.
maybe she'll be the one to change the world.
There you go.
Yeah. President of a year. I don't know. I'm not ready to math right now. So
40 years from now, she's it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
So,
just because we were talking about things that need to change, like like nobody over 50. Nobody over 50 in the government. You're already on the second half of your life. Like, just go have a good life. I don't know.
I
Get
may
out of
push
it.
it to 60, but yeah.
Maybe, but we got like clearly the
55. We'll push it to
demographic who
55.
is making all the choices for the people living right now is so out of touch with us, and it's our world, and like that's what we need to start pushing for above everything else,
Yeah.
because that's how we could get people out of positions. Granted, they would just put somebody underneath them, somebody's brother's uncle, you know what I mean? They'd find a way, because I don't really believe we have
So
much say in anything.
how
But
do we get the old people out of the government? Do we quiet fire them? I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
I mean,
I'm just
please,
kidding. I brought it full circle. Sorry.
yeah, please quiet quit.
Yeah.
Actually, they've all quiet quit. They're doing whatever the hell they
Yeah.
want, because what can we do about it? Nothing.
Nothing.
All right. And on that note, I love you. And
All right. I love you too. I think you're awesome.
Yeah, you
And
too.
tell Bella good luck on her twirling.
Yeah, and good luck on your birthday party.
With all the things.
Yeah.
We will.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Love you.
Okay. Lilas.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
There's a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.